Okay.
I have a question for the girls.
What's up?
Have you guys seen the PLT rebrand?
What PLT? You know, I saw somewhere they sent me a text saying they've rebranded.
They sent you a text?
Yeah, no, they did. They actually did.
She's a loyal customer.
Sorry, do you know how I knew they were rebranding? It's because my sister told me the PLT app is down.
Oh,
I said okay. And then she said it's still down. I thought, let me go have a look. I had a look. I said,
what's
guys,
the
clothes on there is giving very much, you know, Sophia Richie.
Come to work with me.
It's giving like formal wear, office wear, corporate, but for daytime.
Yeah. From
the dresses, you know, the quarter length.
Sure it's not like a campaign they're doing?
No, Tem.
No, sis.
That they've changed.
You know,
even the logo,
the BBL aesthetic.
It's gone.
The holes in the clothes.
It's gone.
Those dresses are now in the sale section.
Let me guess. Are the prices up too?
Probably.
I think a little bit, yeah.
I haven't gone on the website. Now, the thing is, about PLT. Sorry, I do.
They've changed their logos. Yes. Well. They're no longer pink. It's burgundy.
It's cream. It's like it's neutrals now.
Neutral.
So it's giving like more grown.
Yes.
But I need to speak on this, guys, because you see, I haven't shopped with PLT in a while, just because, you know, when the things have come out that, you know, they're exploiting people, you know, sometimes you need to choose your battles,
right?
And you see, so PLT, boohoo, I want exploiters. I had left them in the past, right. But you see, when I saw this rebrand, I said, this is not right. And the reason why I said this is not right is because it can't be true. Because do you know why?
It is. We're living and breathing
it. True, but the reason why it can't be true is because you're probably still using the same manufacturers. I think they're trying to appeal to a different audience. Yeah. So, you know, PLT has like you were saying before, they have the bad B aesthetic branding,
club wear,
sort of even occasion wear, but it was never modest, and it was never like, you know, in my opinion. And now I think it's so interesting that it is, and I'm just wondering, is it because of the flack that they've received? I wonder why. You need to go on their website, Tim. Go on the website.
I have the app on my phone.
Yeah, go on it, because. But then do you know why the rebrand also is funny and it's fake to me? Because I saw this on TikTok, right? The clothes and the logo and everything has changed, but when you receive your PLT order, it's still in the pink unicorn bag.
Oh. Okay.
So they're still working on the brand.
Maybe their bags haven't come on time for the orders that are coming out.
Okay.
So maybe they don't want to waste paper and they're using all their
plastic
ones until it's done.
Yeah.
It's plastic.
Because they care about the environment, so they want it.
But if you really cared about the environment, you know, they're like a multi-million, if not a billion.
Wow. Do you see?
Timmy.
Even if you look at their dresses section,
everything,
their trouser section.
When did this happen? Sorry?
Oh, very recently.
This is like within the last 2 weeks.
You see, modest clothing, I will never, like, you know, give a company flack for giving the modest clothing, because I'm not going to lie to you, it's very difficult to buy things nowadays as a girl. You know, when we want to go out as Christian women, we don't want to dress anyhow. Do you know what I mean? We want to dress and honor the Lord in the way that we dress. So I can't put them down in that way. But for me, it's like, if it's just an external rebrand, but there has not been an inward transformation of the company, we do not want it.
How do we measure whether there's been an inward transformation?
Tell us where you're now sourcing the clothes. Tell us how much you're paying the people that are making the clothes.
Not tell us where you're sourcing the clothes,
because that's really how we will know.
It's true,
because there's people that have been speaking about it, even people in the fashion industry, and they said it's just a mask. So,
because even that, I'm just paraphrasing. The owner even said that the whole reason, one of the reasons for the rebrand is to make that sort of clothing affordable and accessible to all people.
Okay.
So, you know, people, I don't know if you guys have seen on social media, there's now this shift that it's now moved from party wear, club wear, baddie wear to now formal work wear.
We're going to see blazers in the club.
You're going to see, you'll see
it's
people in it's always been there. Like you've
always bringing it back, because back in the days people would wear the blazers to the
and you've had the people dressing that way anyway, but it's now the majority.
Yeah, it's becoming fashionable. It's trendy.
Where you're wearing trousers with a crop top blazer on top, like that's now at the forefront. So it's very interesting that the rebrand works in alignment with what's going on social media.
It's powerful, because they've also said when the economy is down, people become more modest. Like, apparently there's a trend, and it's happened before, that people cover up more for some reason, and I don't really understand. I've heard it before.
That combination.
But
I wouldn't think the two work.
I've heard that when we're in financial disarray, People tend
do you think that's what's happening?
I think what happens is people go back to traditional things, and I think, you know what, fair.
But then, what PLT is doing if these new clothing are more expensive, so then how are they tackling that?
They're not.
Right. Okay.
So, I guess then my follow-up question would be, this hasn't come out of nowhere, because you know, every fashion brand, they study not just the economy, but they study the times, trends, all of that stuff. Yeah. So I'm sure they've studied people, they've studied social media, they've studied going outside and looking, and seeing what people are wearing, what the influencers are wearing. You know, the it girls. So do you think there's been a shift in terms of like influencers
rebranding?
Like rebranding, and do you think there's a reason for that as to why
a beautiful segue? You're powerful.
Thank you.
No, and do you know what I just thought? That's such a way to go into the topic. Okay.
Yeah, Tim. Perfect segue.
Thank you.
I said subway, segue.
Subway. I could do it with
so there was someone
actually
at that window just then, and that scared me. There was a tall man at that window just now. Anyway, no, I actually do think there has been a shift. I think the more you go on social media nowadays and you see what women are wearing, there is a shift and a trend towards more modest clothing.
Right.
I don't actually know what is inspiring it. I don't think, obviously, as Christian women, we support it, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because people are realizing things are going too far. Like, obviously, we spoke earlier in this season about conservatism versus like liberalism, and we spoke about, you know, being traditional in the way that we carry ourselves as women. And I think people are realizing that we've probably gone too far, because what we're seeing nowadays, most of the time, if you catch women outside, you're seeing people wear underwear as clothing. And I think there was only so far you can go unless you're now naked on the street. Because even the Brit Awards, I watched it the other week. I think it was like last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. And there was a girl, I think her name is Charlie XCX.
Okay.
She was like the person who won the most awards that night, and when she accepted her first award, her outfit was sheer, so you could actually see her actual nipples. Like, she wasn't, you know, usually you'd wear a nipple cover or something, but her actual areola, like the nipple, was out. Showing.
So there isn't a complete shift. There's still some people on the
it's like this, and then my cousin,
people seeing that and they're like, no, I'm sorry, this is
too far. Because even her herself, she then, when she came to accept her second award, she said, oh, apparently ITV doesn't like the fact that my nipples are out, but I thought we were doing free the nipple, is what she said. But you know, ITV, they cut it, so the shot now was from here up. So I think what that shows, if I'm being very honest,
not the headshot.
They said no, thank you. And I think what that shows is that in the background there are always those that have the mind that we are going too far,
right?
Whilst there's also those that are in maybe certain positions in media spaces that feel like, no, you know, this is where we should be. So I think
I find it interesting. I find it very, very interesting that we have to get to that extent to realize we're going too far. But, you know, it's good observation.
But that's how humans are, unfortunately. It's only when it's too far gone that it's like, okay, now it's time to reel it back in.
They have to they have to exhaust it basically before then they realize that something is not right.
It reminds me of the Oscars after party that just happened, the Vanity Fair Oscars party. And you know Sherry Shepherd?
Yes.
She has her own talk show. She's I don't know if she's an actress, or I think she's an actress, and then maybe she's now segued into being like a comedian. Yes, comedian, and she's now a talk show host. She went on her talk show and said the way some people have been dressing at award shows recently is not normal.
It's not
and the way we've now normalized being naked in public is not okay. And she had examples behind her. There were different celebrities who were naked on these different
examples.
She had examples
Exhibit A
on the big screen. There were different celebrities who had shown up again, like you said, the nipples are out, or you know the ones where it's sheer at the bottom, you can just see
pants.
the pants,
the bum,
and their
the
bum.
cheeks out.
the cheeks out. And she was like, this is not okay. Like, when did we get here, and why are we seeing these things and thinking, and we're cheering it on? There's nothing of that we should cheer.
I think it's a violation of privacy.
What one? Well, how do you mean?
No, I know where she's going.
I need to understand.
Because
us seeing your
I
nudity.
don't like.
Oh.
No, maybe that's the wrong terminology to use, but I just feel like I'm being violated
Got
because I
you.
feel forced
Yes.
to have to look
To
at
see
something
your
that
nudity.
my eyes did not.
You right.
Did not plan to see.
Right.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see your nipples, especially not on television.
No.
My children don't want to see it. Like nobody wants to see it. My mum especially does not want to see the
They
nipples.
don't. Your
Like,
mum doesn't probably want to see it.
do you know what I mean? So I think it's just no trigger warning, nothing. Just your nipples just coming up on
like,
this.
just no warning whatsoever.
I have a question actually. Do you guys think people actually think they look good? Like, not even in a like mean way. I genuinely have. Do you think that people genuinely, when they dress like that, because
And then they leave the
sometimes I
house.
think I have a very sheltered view of the world,
Right.
Not sheltered because I think I know things, but at the same time I think I come at it from my lens, like, because obviously I'm myself. So I want to ask the class, do you think people generally think that they look nice, or do you think it's because it's trendy that people dress that way? And then do you think because it is a trend, that's why people are now
I
going?
think it's both.
Okay.
I think some people genuinely believe what they're doing is powerful.
Right.
They believe that yes, this is it. This is the look. Like, I'm gonna make it on the magazines as the top 10 best dressed.
Right.
They're confident. They've gone on that red carpet and they're happy that they're semi-naked. Very happy.
Okay.
But then you now have the other side, and we've touched on this so many times. I feel like throughout us doing the podcast, where you have people in terms of what's trending is how they present themselves. So whether it's the nudity era, them two, they're there. Baddie era, they're there.
You don't
When
stand
it's
for
time to be,
anything,
when it's time to be modest and sophisticated,
They're there.
you're there. It depends on what they see online, what's trending, what their favorite celebrity is wearing. That also will then mold how they present themselves and what they wear. You see it even, what I think is even too far with celebrities. You see it with people on social media, influencers, like people on social media in general. You see it.
Yeah.
Depending on, that's why PLT did what they did. They're smart because they're seeing people are dressing this way. The Sophia Richie, the people with money, classy, and then they want the everyday girl to feel like they can afford that because they're seeing the everyday girl dressing like that.
They're following the
So
money.
them too, they're like, oh, okay, yes, now that PLT has done this, I can now afford it, or I can now dress this way, or I can now build my closet to have more of these items.
Yeah, and have you guys heard the saying? It's provocative. It gets the people going.
Yeah,
like it's a real thing. When someone is doing something that's supposed to be out of the norm, or something that just
gets the people talking.
It gets the people talking. So it's just like the trendy part of what you were saying. People
Yeah.
jump on it, and it's just like, oh, okay, that this person is doing this, and wow, even though it might be out of the ordinary, this is interesting. Let's talk more about it. Like what? That's the saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity. That's
what's
basically what
happening.
it
Yeah.
is. Some people are selling themselves to the extent of being naked just so they can trend. Like, and
So they
it's
can be
shall I tell
spoken
you,
about.
shall I tell you what's actually quite interesting? What I think with all of this, I think not everybody that does it believe in it. They just feel like they have to do it to be where they need to
Yeah.
be. And it's like, if you go deep into it, it's extremely sad because that's
It
not
is.
your value, that's not your morals. You don't even agree with it. You don't even think you should be doing it, but because you think it will help you fit in, it will help you get up the ladder a lot quicker.
Yeah.
You're not being your
More
authentic self,
noticeable.
more noticeable. We see it all the times with celebrities. I have a few people in my head I can literally think of that have
Yeah,
had
that
to
you
sacrifice certain things to make sure, because unfortunately they think that's the only way.
Yeah.
And it's really, really sad. There was one more thing I wanted to say about the whole PLT thing. Oh, it really skipped my head. But okay, I remember now. Let's go back a little bit to when BBL started to trend. The likes of Kim Kardashians and all these people started it. That was the origin of, the BBL era and having a bigger bum and shaped and sculpted in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
And look at how people jumped on that. And then that's where these brands like PLT came out with the fast fashion wear and Fashion Nova, the curvy bodies and the cuts, the BBL type dresses, right?
Yeah.
So if anything, everything just goes back to the fact that it's a trend. if you know what I'm
I
saying.
agree.
So that's why PLT is transitioning. Like you said, the likes of Sophia Richie is now
That's what's
trending.
popping.
That's what's
Yeah.
popping.
Quiet
so they have
luxury.
to jump on that bandwagon, or they'll be left behind.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why I think it's disingenuous, because you're just following the money then. And I also think if it like
Money makes the world go round.
it does make the
baby.
world go round. And I guess even if we bring the conversation a bit more broad, I think people are seeing people, even this whole term of being a trad wife or a traditional woman is becoming popular again, of women wanting to be at home, wanting to be married, wanting to be with their kids, wanting a life that they don't think actually matches with the BBL aesthetic. So because that doesn't match, you're going to now see everything starting to shift, because if we're like, this is too extreme, it's not actually authentic to the woman that I personally want to be as a mother. I think that's also part of it, because
100%.
if you then look at like the way people will rebrand, I think it speaks to what they truly believed to be true. Do you know what I mean?
And I think it also speaks to, there's a moment of reflection here when you are that kind of person. It's a lesson to be learned, I think, because you need to ask yourself why you're easily influenced by things like this. You need to ask yourself what the end goal is, where you want to be. You need to ask yourself why. Remember what I was saying initially, like maybe that wasn't your belief to begin with, but because you just wanted to trend or get something out of it, you realize that this is not life. You realize there's more to life. You have other things that you want to do. Maybe you're getting older and you change your perspective and you want to have kids. You want to actually do these things, and you realize, oh, that's not really in line with that. Then it's like, why was I so easily influenced to even get to that in the first place? Because my beliefs hasn't changed, but then I was doing something contrary to that.
Right.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Even just what you said, I as well, just to echo off that, I think life circumstances also heavily influence people more than they realize. So just even an example, like, you know, Kylie Jenner, the way she used to dress, and then if you see her now, she's lost a lot of weight.
Ozempic. Sorry.
Like, huh?
I don't know if she has on. That's yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was gonna say that we're in the Ozempic era.
Yeah, no, we are.
What's this Ozempic?
It's
a drug for diabetes.
It's a drug for diabetes that people are taking to lose weight.
Is everyone diabetic? Oh.
No,
people are taking it because it helps you lose weight.
it has weight loss
quick.
side effects.
Yes.
Like the side effects of the medicine is that it's weight loss.
So they're now taking it to lose weight. Mind you, in America, apparently they had a backlog because a lot of people
Who did that?
and the people who need diabetes couldn't get their medicine.
Yeah, the people with
Because-
diabetes. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Sorry to interrupt.
What
No,
is
it's
going
fine.
on
Don't
in
worry.
the House of
But
Commons?
our nation is falling.
Yeah.
The
world is falling.
You said it. We're in the Ozempic era. The main celebrities that had their BBLs, either they've gotten
Shrinking it,
yeah, they've
taking
had
it out,
the fat
the implant
taken out,
taken
whatever. They've lost the weight. Even Kylie Jenner, she's currently dating the
Timothy
actor
Chalamet.
Chalamet,
Yeah.
and you
She's
know
left the
her.
black men alone.
Okay, and then
No, because if we really want to,
no, yeah.
it's part of the.
And you know what it is?
rebranding.
Do you know what it is?
You're
guys?
actually so right.
No, the people that you're always with as well. It's
Facts.
they're like the accessory to the brand.
And you know
Right.
what? Can I be so
You're right.
real?
You're right.
Can I be so real? I'm not mad at it.
Fairs.
Because as a woman, she's probably thought about it. She's thought, do you know what? I want to be married. I want to build a life with somebody. The life choices that I make, and this is not just with her, just in general. A lot of people are probably thinking, do you know what? The kind of life that I want to live, the kind of man that I want to marry, the kind of woman that I want to be, in comparison to the way I'm dressing now and the way I'm presenting myself, is it making sense?
Does it line
up?
Is it going to aid in me getting there? And a lot of these people have probably acknowledged it and been like, do you know what? This is not it. The rappers, the trappers, the BBL aesthetic, it's not making sense. So they've put that to the side and they're now wearing their cardigans and their trouser.
I want to say something on that.
No, because do you know what I mean? They've and you know what? I'm not mad at it. You've acknowledged like and we were saying this earlier. If you know as a woman you want to get married, it's not about changing who you are as a person or changing everything about you.
No.
But you know that's not how you want to dress.
Right.
It's because you're seeing people on social media are getting the most likes when they are dressed that way, or you know the attention from men. But the kind of attention, that's not the attention that you actually want.
Right.
So you've now actually been honest with yourself and you said, you know what? Maybe I need to like you said earlier, you've rethought your why. Why am I buying these sort of clothes? Why am I presenting myself this way? Why?
Do you know what? So
Powerful.
the question I want to ask to you girls is, let's talk about marriage specifically, and just that path of getting married, having children, and just wanting that life in the future. For the young women out there, or just women our age that haven't really gotten to that stage yet, but want to at some point in life, do you feel like the whole rebranding for the ring is a thing that... what's my question? Rebranding for the ring.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Definitely.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Sorry,
That's sort of where I want to take it. Because
you know what? I genuinely think it's a sad thing. So for me, it's not a bad... It's not that it's bad. It's not that it's good. It's sad to me. And the reason why it's sad is because my question that I then have for a lot of women is, why did it take you getting to the point where you were naked in the street for you to acknowledge the actual things that you wanted from before? Because what I'm essentially trying to say is, a lot of us have standards and we have morals, we have views, we have ethics that we actually hold, and we hold them dearly in our hearts, right? But some of us are too easily swayed. We're too easily like, we see something, maybe, you know, it's trendy, and so we drop everything. But what I've noticed is, it's not even just a drop in standards of the dressing, it's then also a drop in standards of your lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? You start embracing a lifestyle that doesn't align with the end goal that you have in mind. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, it's not that it's good or bad, because at the end of the day, for you to get the results that you want in life, you might have to rebrand, because we all know that certain things just don't make sense,
right? Like, it requires sacrifice,
and that's just life that's just life, period. So the reason why for me it's not good or bad is that sometimes you do need to rebrand, because your life is at risk, or things are going, your future, your destiny is at risk. But then it's also a bad thing, because what if you're not being authentic to yourself anymore? Because
because of the aim of what you're trying to achieve, if you're then pretending
you're
to
not
be somebody
doing
else, it's like,
it's weird, because to me, I feel like your morals and your ethics, like, essentially, as a Christian anyway, what you believe should guide the choices that you make, in every sense. So it's not that you want to be a Christian but then you also want to be a baddie and be a BBL aesthetic, because does that all align with your worldview of what you want for your life? Do you know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying it's sad, because in one breath you want to be a Christian woman, and in one breath you want to have a family, do you know what I mean, you want to have a husband, you want to have kids, but in the second breath you don't have, and I don't say this to tear people down, but you don't have the endurance, maybe you don't have the conviction to stand firmly in the things you know to be right. Because let's say, for instance, Love Islanders that come out of Love Island, right? There's a lot of people that have gone on to Love Island, and when they came out, like, the opportunity is there for most of them to do stuff in the social influencing world. And there's nothing wrong with being an influencer, of course not. But there's different trajectories for different people. There are those that will be happy to go with any fast fashion brand because it pays, and they don't care, they'll do whatever. But then there's those that, like, no, within them. A perfect example, literally, thank you Holy Spirit, just dropped into my brain. If you watch season 2 of Love Island, there was a lady on there called Camilla.
I remember her.
And the guy that came in, I can't remember his name, but he was like a model. And even when she was on Love Island, she was different to the other babes. She came there, you could tell she wanted actual love, right? And even though now obviously she's come out, she got the opportunities and she's in the social media influencing world, but she's a married woman with 2 children, and she's never compromised her stances, for that. Never, not even because she was obviously being on Love Island, that could be, subject, even going there altogether. But before, when in season 2, it wasn't the way it is now anyway. But like, there's that to say. So there's a way to still navigate that world and hold yourself to the standard that you have, and not lose. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I said it's sorry for the long tangent, but essentially,
you're right.
It's not a good or bad. It's sad to me, because there are people that have, and I think it's a testament to the woman, and it's a testament to yourself to not be easily swayed by just every changing trend.
What about you, Ash? Wow.
You actually you hit the nail on the head. I think it's both, a good and a bad thing, but I think unfortunately it can easily sway more to a bad thing than a good thing. And I say that because when you now rebrand for the ring, right, there's a lot
that comes with it.
Yeah, there's a lot to dissect. It can be both. Okay, let me start with the good. The reason why I say it's good, it can be good, is because it's like you said, ultimately, when you think of what you want out of your life, and specifically love, it does require sacrifice. The type of man that you want, and you know, the type of woman that you desire to be, it's like the saying, you can't open new doors with old keys.
Right.
It requires a certain level of change anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
That comes with anything. That comes with when you're starting a new job, whatever it may be. It requires a certain level of newness and presentation that you wouldn't have necessarily had before.
Yeah.
The reason why I say it's now bad is because I think there are, not all, but I think there are some people who now present themselves in a way that's inauthentic.
Right.
As in, you know, you don't like to dress that way.
Right.
You know, you're only dressing that way because that's what the trends are, what's currently trending. Or, you know, the type of man that you want, he's only looking at this type of woman, so let me be like that woman. That's inauthentic because you haven't taken the time to actually reflect and say, do you know what? How do I actually want to dress? And even for like believers, how do I dress in a way that glorifies God? Because we know that God will take care of everything else anyway. So naturally there should be a work within us that the Holy Spirit does, where it starts inwards and then that should show outwardly. So when you now pinpoint it in a way where, okay, I now need to change for the ring, it's almost like, well, when you get that ring, what happens next? Is it that you're now going to rebrand again to be a wife, and then you're going to rebrand again to be a mother? And that's why I think the things of this world, like the discussions and the standards, it's so fleeting. If this shows us anything, it's constantly changing. And that's why I really believe, like, our standards, your beliefs and your hopes. I'm talking to the believers. You know, if you're not a believer, this is probably going in one ear, out the other. You're probably rolling your eyes. I don't give a heck. But this is to the believers.
Come out the room.
Our hope and our standard should be Christ.
Yeah.
Who is never changing.
Never.
Same yesterday, today, and forevermore.
Never.
In a world where it's constantly changing, the bar is always changing. Tomorrow is naked. The day after that is
Modesty.
covered.
Milkmaid.
Down to
Nara Smith.
Milkmaid.
she said Nara Smith.
Lich.
From head to toe.
Then it's OnlyFans.
Then the day after that is something else. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
If you're following that, your bank account and your wardrobe, you're gonna have different sections in your wardrobes for all the different trends.
You become the new PLT.
Your wardrobe will be PLT.
You know, whilst we're talking about all of this, it makes me like think it's no wonder why people have an identity crisis
And why people have social anxiety.
People don't know who they are.
No, they don't.
They don't know who they are. They just
I
know
know,
with
it's
what people
sad.
tell
Sorry,
them
can
to
I even
be.
say something? Because I want to hear your point here, Tem. But
Yeah,
do you know what? That even makes me sad, because then it's like sometimes it's when somebody now gets into a relationship that they realize, wow, I've just been wasting my time. Like, I've been wasting my time trying to. And it's like, it's sad to me that it took that, but I'm happy when people, like, to me, if it's a relationship that it will take you to now say, wow, I need to fix up, you know, so be it.
Good.
But it's sad to me that, you know, we're not encouraging women to do that as a thing for themselves.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's something I'm really proud of us three as for our podcast, is that I believe by God's grace, we've created a space for young women that don't necessarily, we don't look like nuns, but we also, you know, we're not milkmaid. We're just ourselves.
But no, for real.
All three of us are ourselves, but, you know, we embrace whoever we are, and we are authentically who God created us to be, and we are all women and feminine in our own respects.
God.
And I'm grateful for that, because I genuinely think when you're a young girl, a lot of this stuff is dictated to you by what your friends are doing, what's on socials, and
media.
then maybe the man that you're interested, the boy or the man you're interested in. And it's like, I wish that it started as an inward thing for women. I think it's more important that you have that journey
from a young age.
Yeah,
because even the conversations that I have with certain women, they're like, oh, you know, how were you able to find your style? Like, how, you know, like, how do you know, like, how to put something like, how do you know like what you like?
Because it's not the exact. It's not.
I'm not
shown.
looking-
And because I'm not me. I don't go off of, okay, what's this person wearing? What's this? I might be inspired.
Different.
I might see something like,
But you
wow,
do
like
it
I
your
really
own
like that
way.
item.
Yeah.
But then I make it work for me.
Yeah. I know myself.
Right.
I think that's because I had this conversation with someone that I really like, I love dearly. Yeah. I was saying, I know, I was asking them, like, I know I don't really give girly girl vibes. Like, I'm very aware. And sometimes I'm like, does that mean I'm not feminine? Do you know what I mean? I genuinely was just asking as a question. And they were like to me, no, but you embrace yourself and you're true to yourself. And that's feminine to me. And that's femininity. And I'm like, because I think the women are selling people down the river with these femininity coaches on YouTube. Oh, you need to, babe, it's a whole genre.
Oh, you haven't seen
It's a genre. They are telling women you need to do this to be feminine.
Start dressing.
You need
like
to
this.
look like this. You need to do this.
Start
And it's like,
looking like this.
but you were made.
to be
Do you know what I mean? You were made a woman, so you're feminine inherently. And femininity is, there's probably some unifying qualities, but because you are by nature a woman, you are feminine. And so however that expresses itself, as long as you
However
know
that looks.
you're not trying to be something that you're not,
Right.
we thank God. But Tem, please.
Oh my god.
Is it good? Is it bad?
You know what?
To change for the
I'm on
week.
both sides, same as Ashley. I think it can be good and it can be bad. When we're speaking on the bad side of things, I feel like a leopard never changes its spots, which means if you are trying to be, it's called being performative. If you're pretending for end goal, there's only so much you can pretend for.
It's true.
Because when you do receive,
You're gonna
let's
have a
just say
crisis.
let's say you receive what you've been looking for, which is the ring in this context. Your old habits will come back up again, and the man or the woman that you end up being married to that has given you this status of marriage will start to then look at you and think, you know, oh, were you pretending? You know, it's just very performative. And a good example of that is there's a babe from Love is Blind, no, from Love and Hip Hop. I think Masika. I saw something like a few.
her.
Wow,
I think it was
her.
Masika. Was it Masika? Probably.
been a long time, man.
It was like a few
Don't watch that
months
rubbish,
ago.
guys.
It was a few months ago. I saw something on social media. She was very transparent about it, which is a good thing. Obviously, people learn from their mistakes and others can learn from them as well. She spoke about how, you know, she was with a Christian, because she changed her whole aesthetic for a while.
Alexis Sky.
Not Masika.
Do you know why? Because someone sent me this
It was
video.
Alexis Sky.
Sky.
Sorry,
No,
not
she was on a
Masika.
podcast with a pastor.
Oh,
That's
then-
who she was with, right? I don't know if she was with
She
that
wasn't with
pastor,
him, but he was
with a
interviewing
religious
her,
man.
like, oh, what happened during
Alexis
that
Sky,
phase?
sorry.
That's
Masika,
it.
I'm sorry if you see. Not you, girl. Alexis Sky.
I remember
We're
seeing
beautiful.
things.
Alexis Sky is so beautiful.
She
You
is.
know, she's just all-rounded woman, like head to toe, very put together. But she's also on the other side of just dressing a certain way. Her lifestyle comes across a certain way. And all of a sudden she had a change in her rebranding in her appearance. And she, you know, she was dressing more modestly.
She was making Christian
content. So she had it came out that she had a Christian man, the person she was
pastor.
with was either a pastor or someone that was very religious. And that was all fine. And you know, I saw that and I thought, oh, okay, like, I don't know, okay. And recently she made a post, so I think I saw it on a blog page a while ago, saying how she just revealed everything. She said the reason she was doing that was because he promised her marriage. I believe
He told her he would
told
get
her that
married
he
to
would
her.
marry her and give her just the settled lifestyle and, you know, all of that stuff. And she fell in love with that idea. So in return, she thought if she appeased to what he wanted
And his standard, then it
then
would
obviously
happen.
she would get
I
that.
remember seeing
And-
that, like when it happened.
And when
Sorry
you were
to
speaking,
interrupt.
no,
like,
it's fine. When you were speaking about that trend, that she was the person that came to mind, because Alexis Sky is being transparent and being open about it.
Right.
You can imagine the amount of women that do that because they want a certain lifestyle. They've realized later on that, okay, this is not for me. All this rapping and all of whatever it is not for me. But this is the version that is for me. And unfortunately, they get left not behind, but they get left where they were at, and the man just decides to walk
Right.
away, which is what happened with Alexis Sky. So he didn't end up marrying her, and that's why do you know what? She ended it, to summarize the situation, she ended it with just saying she's still on her journey with Christ. I don't know what that means, whether she's going to carry on, but she's obviously not there yet. She made that very clear.
Right.
So I don't know if it was like an apology video for being deceitful in certain things that she was doing, but it was a moment of reflection. And it was also a moment of reflection it should be a moment of reflection for every woman out there. Obviously, I know men can relate in other ways, but anyone out there, let's say, that just feels like they're being performative or pretending to gain something, that's not right, that's not authentic. The best winner is being your true self, and the right thing will come your way.
You said it.
That's why it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because we all grow, we all make mistakes, and we sit on this podcast as women talking about, even our last episode, we spoke about come as you are, but don't stay as you are. So in saying all these things, we also have to give grace. I'm also a very good example of that. Like, God is still working on me. He's transforming my life for the better, and I can see it every single day. I see where I'm coming from on my journey. Would I say that's because I want to have a certain lifestyle, or I see a certain potential of what I want in the future? Is it solely for that reason? No, but it is also part of that reason. Part of it. I'm doing that because, again, God is working on me, so it's inner works that's being transformed, and this is my authentic self. I'm not pretending for something, but also
and it still looks like you,
and it's still me. It still looks like me. I'm doing it my own way. I'm not like a completely different person where you look at me, you can't even recognize me anymore. And even if that's the case where you can't even be recognized anywhere, again, so be it, as long as it is not performative, because God can change a person's life overnight. In saying that. So I genuinely feel like it can be good, and I feel like people should genuinely give grace where it's due. I think it was Whitney from Love Island, that I don't remember what it was, but she made a video just talking about just wanting to leave a certain lifestyle and wanting to do certain things. I don't know if she made clear because of her relationship or just how she wants to be in life moving forward. But another babe as well, there was a girl called Hannah. I don't know if you remember on Love Island. I think her name is Hannah, but I'm so bad with names, damn.
I'm trying.
I haven't watched Love Island in a long time.
She has a sister. They both have a podcast.
Anna.
No.
Yes, it's Anna.
Anna and Mandy.
Anna.
She's like Arab.
Yeah. Anna and Mandy.
Okay.
Tem is becoming an auntie day after day.
No, don't say that, because I've never been good with names anyway.
Tell me your
I said Hannah.
Anna. It's Anna.
No, she's right.
It's not Hannah.
It's not Hannah. It's
Anna and her sister Mandy. They have a podcast, and I saw a clip of her a while ago where she was talking about how she got invited for Love Island All-Star, and she declined it. And the reason why is because her view has changed on, no. Do you know what? I love when people can gather their message and say what they need to say without bashing other people and bringing other people down. I don't exactly remember if she did that, but I do remember her saying like Love Island is not for her anymore. She doesn't regret going on it, but in this day and age, as she's developed, whatever she's done now in life to get to where the point she's in, she doesn't want to be seen in a certain light. And
she said as well that the kind of man that she wants to marry is not going to marry someone that is on Love Island.
And people, do you know what it is? That little part of it, that's when people are going to come and say, why do you feel like, why is it about a man? Everything's about a man. Everything's about a man. Women do this. And I absolutely understand, but I don't know why our generation shies away or pretends as if
people don't want to be married.
You want to be married. And again, we're not saying perform to be married, dance for the master. That is not what we're saying in any way. But because it's such a huge part of our lives, we don't need to shy away from it. Why can't you as a woman or a man want to do better for the future you want? For your future, whether it be the man, whether it be for the children you want to have,
or how
whether
about
it be
for you, for your everyday, for your family members, for the people that love you and are around you.
I don't think we need to shy away.
As your best version, as your healthy version. Why are we in denial? You want to be married. You want to be in a relationship. You want love. Yeah, I don't know where this spirit of denial has come from, where you're now asking people, you want to be in a relationship, if the Lord wills, maybe one day, but right now I'm just no, you want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, and there's loads of sacrifices that comes with that.
That is okay. Like the way we were created to love and to worship. We're first created to love our Heavenly Father, our Creator, and then to give that love to people around us. We have so much love to give. It's not just going to be capped at our family, our friends, the people that we interact with. That will also be for our future children, your future spouse.
And we honestly shouldn't shy away from it. I
Don't
think
be
it's
in
something
denial.
it's something that I think, because a lot of people shy away from it, the people that do speak out about it, that's where the likes of the pick-me's come in.
Thank you. As in tag
That's
me.
why it's like, oh, now you're a pick-me because
this is where I wanted to pick
it's
up.
all for men, you're all man. All you care about is this. I feel like, I don't know. But anyway, that's my speak on it.
First of all you lot that are bashing women for saying they're doing things for men, but you did the bad B aesthetic for men. So now what?
Talk about it.
No, because I think it's so disingenuous here to lie to women and act like you lot that are doing OnlyFans, you know, bad be aesthetic, everything. You're saying you're not doing it for men, but who pays for your OnlyFans?
Who's subscribing?
So who are you doing it for? Because apparently the women that want to be modest and the people that want to get married, they're doing it for men. But what are you doing? Are you not doing it for men? I just think it's so...
We're all in the same boat.
I just think it's so fake and it's so performative. And also a lot of women are leading women down a very terrible path of, you know, you want to get married at a certain age because we all know women have a fertility clock, right? Cool. And that's okay.
Why do
there's
we
nothing,
shy away
and there's
from
nothing wrong with that,
that?
but you're all lying to people and saying, oh, you know, men are not the prize. And we know, we're not saying men are the prize because people will see this content and think this is pick-meism. No. Because you know what the craziest thing, do you know what the craziest thing is? I don't even care. I don't even justify myself to you. But let me tell you one thing for sure. One thing for sure is, yes, I'm proud of the woman that I am. Not just because, you know, not just because I have standards on all of these things, but because I think I'm living my life in an authentic way that by God's grace, I'm going to be married and I'm going to have children.
Amen.
And you know what? I'm proud of that. And I don't think anybody should ever make me feel bad about that. And even if you do try, I will never feel bad about it because I care about my future and you should care about yours. And I think what's so scary is seeing a lot of women encourage other women not to care about their future and only care about right now. Because right now it's okay to be twerking on the internet in a thong. You think that that's going to serve you well when you're in the future trying to make better decisions for your life. And the thing is, deep down, every person knows, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, every person knows the kind of life that they want to have. And if it's authentic to you that you want to be out here, cool. But don't discourage young women that are still being, you know, they're still learning, they're still growing. The amount of content I see sometimes, it scares me because I'm like, people are impressionable. Until a person, especially young girls, are not able to make the decision for themselves, I don't want them to think that that's the only way.
Right, they're consuming all this information. I'm sorry, if you're not careful, a lot of the theologies that you people are spewing on the internet, you're going to be very lonely very soon. And for a very long time. If you're not careful.
There's that as well. And also the viewers and the consumers of those information. Because I feel like the people that are giving those content out, they're very smart, but also wicked at the same time. Because you don't even have to believe in something before you put it on the internet as long as it trends.
It's true.
So my real thing is for the people that are consuming it, the young girls, the young boys, those that are easily impressionable, not developed yet, still trying to find their path, whatever it is. Just do not fall for it. Do not, you know, a woman can be out here talking about men are trash, but sleeping very happily next to her husband and, you know, just be different in person. So don't fall for those things. And it always goes back to what you said, I'll never forget on the podcast once you said you feel like there should be an age limit to when you can have social media accounts, because during that age period you're still developing a lot of things. So the content you're absorbing is so important and it's ever changing.
It's like people are so impressionable because I know exactly what it's like to be on social media. One day you didn't like something, next minute you like it, and like you're confused as to how that happened. That's what influence is.
And if you look at I was going to also say before it gets out of my head, if you look at a lot of trends, if you look at a lot of hashtags, for example, you know, this unpopular opinion hashtag, that's where it comes from. Because when I look at a lot of people's unpopular opinion, I kind of relate to them and I'm just like, why is it unpopular?
And it's not even that it's unpopular, it's just you lot are scared to be yourselves.
Right.
Why is it
like why is it that's why people like Zizi Mills,
it's just your opinion.
Zizi Mills has always been ridiculed in the media because she always speaks her mind and it doesn't always align with what's popular.
Right.
But I'm like, that's a person that I would prefer to follow because you don't care what other people think. That's one thing I'm proud of us. We don't give a heck. You can come on our podcast and think we love men. We do love them. Because you know what? My dad is a man. My brothers are men.
Drag us through
and the man, I want to marry a man.
But I'm sorry, I'm not on that bandwagon.
I'm not with
the Lord
you.
calls me to love all people, so I don't have any hate in my heart.
What do you mean?
I'm not there with you guys. Never. I could never be there. I just think
it's scary because in the same breath, men are trash, but you want to get married. Hello, hi, wake up.
So what man are you going to get married to? The same men that you're saying are trash. So your husband is going to be trash too.
Words have power is essentially what I'm trying to say. Words have power. The ideas that you have for your life, like ideologies that you're taking in, they have power. And I want to give women the permission, and obviously it's not me to give it to you, but I just want to let you know that it's okay to stand firm in your boundaries from a young age. It's okay to be the only girl in your secondary school that maybe doesn't wear the same things all her friends are wearing, that chooses not to wear makeup at the same time, that chooses to figure out herself, learn her personality, learn what she likes, learn what she doesn't like. I want you as a young girl to stand there and be so bold in yourself that no one, like, not all these things, all the shape-shifting things happening around you can
stand 10 toes down in that.
Because one thing that will be true for the people that stand on what they believe from a young age is that when they turn 25, when they turn 30,
you
when
see
they
the trends coming around in their favor anyway.
No, it's not even that. It's that, but also that person, you'll be able to look at that person and be like, they never changed.
Right. And
You've
you're
always
credible.
been consistent.
You're more
credible.
of a credible person.
You're a person of integrity and you're authentic.
That's it. You will never regret being a person of integrity. Never. Because integrity will never go out of style. Being a person of integrity shows you're reliable, you're consistent in who you are, what you do and what you say. That should never ever change. And if you're finding it's constantly changing, the people around you, don't fall into that trap.
No.
I said stand 10 toes in who you
on
are.
your word. Absolutely. What I said about that trend thing as well, trust me, it's so important, because again, you know, people are going with the wind and following this trend. The one person that stands solid, strong, let's talk about women. I can't speak for a man in a lot of these situations. A woman that gets to the age of 25 that has been solid like through secondary school and everything else, a lot of that trend comes back around. Women at that age then start to realize, oh, all of this isn't worth it anymore. And you've been so consistent in what you get, and it's like, wow, you know what I mean? People look at you and think, wow, this has been a person that's been true to herself. I respect it.
And that's why my message was to young girls, because it's not about the men. Like, as much as we said, men, good, great, we want to get married, it's about you. Because I do not regret being the girl that I've been all these years. I don't regret it. Like, I'm so proud of the young Ayo.
I will say about
I'm so proud of her, because the one thing and that's why I'm saying, like, it's so crazy that you're trying to bamboozle lots of and say that they love men and they're pick-me's. It's like, no, but this was for me. Because if it was for men, there's things that men want that they've wanted at different times. I could have shapeshifted and been that. Or a lot of us, all of us, we could all shapeshifted and been that at that time. But you know, I'm so proud of the girl that's standing here, because I can tell you, even though there's things that all of us have done that we're not proud of, there's things I can stand and say, you know what, I'm proud of the woman that I am today, because it's still it's still consistent with young me.
Right.
Because deep down we are all the person that God created us to be. Do you know what I mean? And you want to stay authentic to that,
right?
Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
You haven't been swayed.
I give glory to God,
firm in that.
and I want that to be a lot of young girls' story, because when I see how young it's happening now, so just
but
join.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be. I think for some it will be, but the way it's going, if we're not careful with the message that we're putting out there and what we're saying, our words, unfortunately, that is not going to be the case for a lot of people. But it's never too late. Even if you are watching this and you're finding, do you know what, I feel like I am who I am because of what social media says or because of what's trending, you don't have to stay that way. You don't have to continue to be influenced by that. Like the best thing you can do, and I always say, is surrender to the one and only, because there is no one that knows you better than the creator, the person who knows the very hairs on your head, the number of hairs on your head.
Your identity.
He will give you, if you're struggling with your identity crisis, body dysmorphia, whatever it may be, he is the person that will reveal to you who you are. In knowing him, in serving, in finding out who he is, he will then give you your identity, because that's the person that's created you. This world can't give you identity. Your friends, your family, social media, whatever it may be, you cannot find your identity in those things, in the things that's fleeting and changing. You won't.
Wow.
That's it, really. You know? And you know, when you take all of this in, it's not even to say that we know everything, but just I feel like God has graced us with, you know, a lot of this stuff to talk on. You'll realize it's not about rebranding for a ring. It's just about becoming the woman that you want to be. Like, it's not, because you wouldn't need to rebrand, because what's happening is like, it's so like people are shocked. 1 minute that a person was one thing, and then that's shocking.
Complete.
But if you're like authentic from the start, it's just natural growth. You know, it's not a rebrand.
You'll evolve.
You grow.
And let's say you find yourself in a position where, you know, from the start you were swayed and you get to the halfway point, you're not sure of any direction. First of all, listen to Ashley's message again. Let God be the director moving forward. And second of all, don't be scared to change. Don't be scared to don't be scared to hear people's criticism, because it most likely will come. Let them criticize. Let them can't tell you, oh, you're changing your next, but you most likely will lose friends. You most likely, things will change in your life.
People
And
won't
that's
understand
absolutely
you.
fine. But you know where you're going. You know where you're heading. You start
important.
making those decisions from today.
Today.
Honestly,
Okay?
like,
I love that, man.
The 10th of March, 2025.
I love this episode.
Same.
But yeah, we'll see you in our next one, guys. Thank you
see
for
later.
listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheerio.